Whoa, we're back.
What's shaking YouTube?
How's it going, guys? Welcome back to Nerdy Couch. What are we doing today?
Today, we're going to carry on where we left off in The Last Ronin. Wicked cliffhanger, last issue there. The reintroduction of April. I got my little notes stuck in my thing here. Pretty exciting. I'm excited to get through this comic. I'm excited for the next one. I'm just excited about the series.
What was the last thing we learned about the Ronin? Who's the last Ronin for a quick recap?
Quickly recapping, we found out that the last Ronin, the last turtle, is none other, oddly enough, than Michelangelo.
Which I was very, very glad to see. Michelangelo is the last Ronin, and let's see what he gets up to in the Last Ronin number 2. So this right here, start off with the cover. Really nice looking cover.
Beautiful.
With Raphael on the front there. Lots of foot ninjas around him. Kind of foretelling some things that might or might not happen.
May or may not.
So
let's get ahead of ourselves there.
All right. And titled The Last Ronin 2, First to Fall.
I was worried right away when I read this title, just because obviously we're gonna have some flashbacks, was my immediate assumption, and that we were gonna see a little of the history that brought the turtles to where they ended up.
Yeah. What's up, Rob Couch?
Throw Good evening, sir.
Yep. Hopefully you can see that, Grim.
I can see something. Might poke around at stuff here. Just shift things down a little. There we go.
You can see that already?
Yeah. Yeah, looks good.
Okay, let's get into it. Rob, we're just looking at the Last Ronin number 2. Anyone joining in? Anybody watching on the replay? Hope you enjoy yourselves.
So yeah, we float right in, and we kind of pick up somewhere. I was assuming where we left off from the last one. We had just found out that April was around still, and we find her laying in bed weeping. Doesn't look good for April.
No.
And then we flow right in, and you can even tell with the art changes that this doesn't feel the same as the actual storyline pieces there.
Real quickly, you'll notice the first panel is a now, meaning in present time, and then it goes back to a flashback in these panels.
So we find the second time around antique store, obviously April's father's old antique store. Maybe not obvious if you're not a big Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles fan, but I was fairly excited to see the second time around store. That's kind of where April lived in the originals at the beginnings of those stories and stuff. So I was excited to see that, and we see,
that's awesome.
And we get to see April with a slick new short haircut there, having a bit of a conversation with Casey Jones, who I was super excited to see.
Definitely. Hey Chase, how's it going?
Good.
Chasey Jones.
This is Chasey Jones. That's blood, yeah. Chase is not super familiar with the Ninja Turtles. This is my oldest son. Just so you know, son, this is a live stream, which means it's being beamed out to YouTube right now.
Wait.
You're going to be on YouTube.
You're live on YouTube.
YouTube star.
Oh.
It's bedtime though. There, look.
Yeah, you stop.
Yeah, great. So
You're a
this is
YouTube star.
the first of
This-
many videos for Chase, I'm sure, because Chase is an avid gamer,
Yeah.
and he's into the nerdy world for sure. So
This is his start. This
That's
is
it.
his start.
Yep.
Remember,
Dragons.
this is his first appearance.
Dragons and wizards are the most nerdiest.
You're the nerdiest.
You're the nerdiest.
Okay, go to
You-
bed.
Like,
You're both
Dad.
right.
Hey, Daddy, watch this. Ready?
What are you doing?
Your eyes are going up and down. How about mine?
This is ridiculous.
Daddy, are like this? Are my eyes like this? Dad?
Yeah, your eyes were like that. Go to bed.
How's it going, Ren?
I'll see you.
Good to see you. Thanks
Yes,
for joining
good
us
to see
today.
you.
All right, let's get back into this book. That was adorable.
All right.
Yeah, we get it. We see you.
So,
Chillins.
the next few panels here, we kind of get a feel for what's been going on in the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle world. The Casey and April love story has obviously evolved to a point where marriage is an option. So it's exciting. They're waiting for the turtles to show up so they can kind of do like a big reveal, a celebration reveal dinner. But then, just to add a little drama to the dinner, Raph bursts in covered in blood. That's that's not good ever, rolling in covered in blood. Starts just slinging things out of the way, smashing chairs and smashing everything off the table. April and Casey are trying to figure out what's going on. He just yells ambush and continues pushing things around, and we find out that Master Splinter is hurt badly by what it seems, and he's being dragged in by Donnie and Michelangelo at this point. The interesting pieces as we move up here to, there's April just kind of obviously having some flashbacks about how events played out. The interesting bit in the next panels where they have Splinter laid out there and it's looking real bad. There's a big pool of blood underneath him. The turtles are all kind of standing around except for Leonardo. Is that obviously there was a truce between the Foot and the turtles that had just been broken by the Shredder's daughter.
Yeah, this truce that they have, I'm not really sure what it entitles, but it's very intriguing.
Yeah, obviously to stop I would say that the killing of mostly foot soldiers, you would think. I mean, the turtles are still alive, so
yeah.
And
Yeah,
just maybe so the turtles could have peace of mind, and just try and live out their sewer lives, but not happening. Is it Kurai? I think.
Kurai, I think.
She decides to bust the truce. Yeah, Kurai.
Yeah.
And they're about ready to go kick some asses to get Leo back, but just as he wanders in and tells everybody to chill out a little bit. Raph obviously wants to just go take on the world because that's Raph's go-to style.
That's who Raph is.
But Leo comes in, tells him to, hang it up and chill out and relax. But as the conversation's kind of going on, Splinter's talking to Michelangelo about it was just a matter of time even that the war would continue between these two clans. And then they realize that Raph is gone. And
yeah.
Of course, we all know where Raph might be going.
Yeah, I got a quick question for you in these two panels. Since you're a Donnie fella there, How do you feel about the way he wears his bandana in these two panels, or in this time? Just kind of wears it around his neck.
I was really I took some time to kind of stare at Donnie when I saw him come in, because I wasn't at first. I didn't even think. I don't even think I was sure who it was, because the first panel where he comes in with Michelangelo carrying Splinter there,
Yeah, you can't
you
really
can't even
see.
see it. Yeah, so I was curious about which turtle that was, and then you finally get the clearer picture. I don't mind the change of look. I think it gives him a little
I
extra
don't.
individuality anyway.
I don't mind it at
Um,
all, and it kind of shows that they're maybe in a time where it doesn't matter as much.
yeah, and they're maybe maturing and just not all looking exactly the same all the time, or
Yeah,
trying to find that
identities. They have
individual.
their own
Yeah,
identity.
I am
Anyway,
curious as to what brought him to that outfit, and I'm hoping that maybe more flashback pieces might kind of show us why he's got the old full, like a full robe looking. He's almost Jedi-esque
yeah,
when he rolls in there. So, but yeah, I'm interested in what's with the look.
yeah,
Um,
definitely.
anyway,
So
we kick it over to that next panel, and we quickly realize that April isn't all the woman that she used to be. That she's lost an arm and a leg in some way.
yeah, and you notice in those earlier panels right here, this one, you do see a leg and an arm on the table there. So it kind of gives you a hint to that. Doesn't quite show it with the arms and legs under pillows or blankets, but it gives you a hint.
Yeah, and then kind of just the next few panels are just rolling through her, grabbing on her arm, clicking it into place. I am curious about the tech behind the arm and stuff, because obviously her fingers and everything are moving around and doing their thing. Um,
Yeah,
her leg is a little too far away for her to grab,
yeah,
which made me laugh. And she's kind of just staring at it for a minute and glances off into the distance and says, "Hey, Casey." And you know, I was expecting maybe Casey Jones was still alive, um, just from that. And then I glanced down the next panel and realized that the likeliness of that is very low. As there's his signature hockey bag and mask, just sitting there over by her leg, a little deserted in the boxes and whatnot, the clutter.
yeah. Definitely kind of a silent moment for me where when I realized that.
Yeah, yeah, it was a sad piece. I was a little upset about it.
Yeah, one of my favorite characters in
Hmm,
the series. So
absolutely. And it was,
definitely was.
I think when I go back to like being a kid and reading these books, um, I could never be a mutant turtle, obviously,
Yeah,
but could I be
he
a
was the
smart
relatable.
talking guy with like a golf bag full of random things to hit people with? Yeah, I could do that.
Yeah, definitely. Anyway, we carry on and we get a scene with Michelangelo, even though he doesn't have his orange on. We know it's Michelangelo. Strikes a match, and he is gotten some tea for the boys, whom at this point we realize don't exist. They only exist in his mind. Just kind of shows a lot about his psyche right now, like the way he's thinking and stuff like that. Um, they they're talking about a little bit about how you know it's a miracle that he's still around and stuff like that, and how April is still around and how it's a miracle that she survived. At one point, they say the last thing I remember is the explosion. There was some sort of explosion that happened that took out where they believed at least that it took April out.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
amongst others, maybe we don't really know at this point.
The other little piece about that conversation with all four of the turtles there I thought was interesting was that the three like apparitions, the ghost turtles there, are dressed really old school and not the same as what we just saw in April's flashback, right?
You know what? They're even drawn old school a little, like much more so than Michelangelo right now. So he continues having a conversation with them, and I'm forgetting what's happening here.
He's just really, I feel like he was just kind of talking to those guys about who survived and how the others kind of like there's some play on how the others might have died and whatnot, or doing hot-headed things, and he's just really upset with the whole conversation.
Yeah, and they have a conversation about Raph is kind of going at him a little bit, and Mikey says something along the lines of, "Hey, you know what? I was there. You know, I went through all these things with you, no matter how stupid they were. You know." And one of the turtles, I'm going to assume is Raph, says, "You know, at least I didn't try to off myself just because I failed," type deal, right? Mikey gets mad, tosses the pot. He's obviously upset with such a comment. You know, he says that that trip to the tower was supposed to be a one-way ticket. He wasn't expecting to make it out of that tower. It was supposed to be a one and done, get the job done, end the war either way, right?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
It says for the father, for family, and for honor. Then I don't know if maybe he didn't throw it or he picked it up, but he's got the teapot back. Says, "I should be dead. That fall should have killed me." Then they go like, it didn't kill you. You know, we can still fight. I lost the battle, but the war goes on, and such and such. And then they have a cheers for Master Splinter. And then he says, "The last Oroco must die." And then you get a cut over to that that scene where Raphael has deked out. This is back in the past, and he's just roof jumping for the next couple of panels. And you get
what turtles do best, man.
Yeah, just staying in the shadows for the most part, except for those people eating pizza who are like, "What the heck is that? It looked like a..." Oh, never mind. It couldn't be. That's too crazy. So he smells blood, and then he grabs a foot soldier that was lingering in the sewers. "Where is Curry?" Doesn't I don't know whether he gives him the information or not. Would you assume that he gives him the information?
I'm feeling like he must give him a little something, but he finishes that guy off pretty quick.
Yeah, he like brutally finishes him off, calling him an imbecile while running away. And then you clip over to a big yard with a whole bunch of the foot soldier. And at first, you don't really get to see who it is, but then you see that it is Kari. And she's explaining how the truth is over, blood has been spilt, and you know that won't be stood for. Now it's on, pretty much. We will finish them. That's that.
It's go time.
And then it's go time. There's no backing out now. Raph, you've got a classic scene here where the foot soldiers are like, "What? what's going on?" And then you get the little snap. Yeah. And obviously, Raph is in there just taking them out one by one. He's full on going crazy at these guys. And this next couple of panels is just going to depict that. Can see that he's just going through them like crazy. Says, our failure finds us, Kiri says. Kara?
Karai?
Karai? Yeah, that's it.
I'm calling her Karai.
Yeah, okay, well, we'll stick with Karai. She's like, so be it. Destroy the beast! Bring it on! Sending these wimps out to do your dirty work, Karai?
Just
you already made that mistake once tonight, referring to the ambush earlier, just tearing through them. You ambushed my family, killed my father. Now, at this point, there's nothing really saying that Splinter has died in this, when he's doing this. He's just badly wounded, and they're taking him to see one of their doctor friends. Excuse me. So he believes for sure that they've killed Splinter. For sure.
Yeah.
Only one way that this ends. Still going through, taking some arrows into the shell.
Get to see a good look at some of the elites in that panel too. Those elite ninjas with the right hats and stuff.
They're not regular foot soldiers at all. Yeah, it's a really good panel showing like lots of blood. He's taking on wounds left and right here, but taking down as many as he can at the same time. He just wants to finish this. And Karai says, yes, we'll finish this. You can see here, again, this is a great panel to showing all of the arrows in his back. It's got one through his leg there. So he's taken on some wounds. Good fight scene between these two.
Yeah, stunning.
She calls him a brute. He's like, a brute? You ain't got no idea. Whoopah! Kicks her in the chops. She goes flying.
Does she have a sign through her arm in that last panel there as well?
Yes, she does. But he also takes one of her swords in just under the armpit there, by the looks of it, or near the armpit, just under the shell there. So they're taking blows. She says, the soldiers have failed to take your head, but I will not fail. You missed, and he flips her. They both go down into the water. You can see in the one panel where she's going for his. I'm not really sure what those weapons are called. That little knife thing that he has.
I don't remember, but they were always my favorite. With the it came with the old toys. It always came with toys with that
little brown plastic that they used to come in. Yeah. But she reaches for that, and they go down deeper and deeper and deeper. She grabs that. He puts a sword in the back of her, and she looks like gets him under the neck with that weapon. And at the very bottom, you can see him sinking and reaching for his sai. And in the panel beside it, somebody coming down to grab Kyrie, whatever her name is.
I got real emotional at this point. I felt my feels for sure.
Yeah, no words in these panels, which I think is brilliant.
Absolutely.
Just let the art speak for itself here. And then the next scene is when you really kind of just, with that sai falling down through the bloody water. And you're just like, damn!
Classic, by the way.
Yeah. So
Yeah, so we roll back to the present of what's up. Michelangelo's still hanging out with his spirit brothers there, and April finds him in the kitchen. They kind of have a bit of a chat about how he should be resting and whatnot because the injuries and all the jam there,
Having
and that
coffee.
she decides that she's going to have a coffee with him because she runs on the high octane stuff.
That's when he notices, right?
What's that? Oh yeah, you can see him kind of doing the old hand glance because her bio hand or her mech hand there is floating about. He kind of inquires about it.
Yeah, they talk about the arm a bit.
She says stuff about she talks about her leg also, souvenirs from the last time that they saw each other. So that's kind of another interesting hint at what we might find out a little later. Which I thought was cool because I'm really curious about this whole explosion piece. I mean, I'm curious about more of these backstory pieces and what happened to each individual turtle for sure.
Yeah.
He talks about, all this time they thought that she was dead and that they have some serious catching up to do, he says. She offers him some brekkie. I thought it was interesting here that she offers him eggs and
Yeah.
they're like real eggs and that she got them from the black market. So
Yeah, they're
eggs
not
are
the
such a commodity.
synthetic. They're used to a
that
synthetic egg.
Yeah, so she's got the real deal, and then so she's just kind of cracking some eggs and talking about how Michelangelo's attack really rattled the cage of what's his name, Hiroto.
Yeah, Hiroto.
And he's still obviously upset about that not being the plan and whatnot, and he can't figure out how he could still be alive.
Yeah.
April explains that while she's no Donatello, that she thinks that his mutation has progressed over time and that he's bigger and stronger and he's healing faster. And so that's kind of what she thinks is causing that survivability that he's got. But his head, he says, is still fuzzy. He can't quite remember things. Doesn't know how he got back to the lair, and he's really confused about that whole piece. And that's when April yells out for Casey, and that Michelangelo obviously gets really excited and surprised, and he thinks that the Casey Jones is still alive, but it turns out that it's April's daughter, Casey Marie Jones, who I'm going to assume is her aunt and the original Casey Jones daughter. That would be my guess. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah. Yeah. There's no way around it. Like, that's definitely the offspring of Casey Jones and April.
Yeah, and then so she talks about we kind of already met, except for he wasn't really in a good space at the time. He was covered in blood and unconscious. And talks about how it's weird that she's finally getting to meet these turtles that she's heard so much about. So we can assume that she was born after the turtles had all gone away and presumed April dead and
Yeah.
explosion and all of that other bits and stuff. And they kind of talk about that Mikey was supposed to be the funny one in the next piece there. And,
yeah, which is obviously something that's not true anymore.
Yeah, he doesn't seem very funny at all anymore. He's kind of brooding and grumpy and depressed.
They have a bit of breakfast.
And they talk about there being a lot more to catch up on again. Then we get to cut over to Hiroto up in his tower. He's going to do a little training, which I thought was a good play because initially when in the last comic there, I was kind of feeling like maybe he just didn't have any martial prowess.
Like he was just a guy who sits in a chair and orders everyone else.
Yeah, that's kind of how I was feeling about it. So I was glad that they brought this piece in where they're showing, it's him and he's in there asking for a decent fight. He wants them to come at him because if they don't come at him, he's going to kill them anyway, or have them killed. So they start taking it a little more seriously, and his foot ninjas come flying in, and one of them actually scores a solid hit on him. So he decides that it was almost masterful, and there can only be the one master, he says, basically, and cuts that guy's throat. And
so in theory, you finally got somebody stepping up.
Yeah.
And you're like, won't have that. I only want weak people.
That's right. And, I feel like maybe if you would take a couple of these strong guys and, let them rise a little bit, maybe you would have had less.
No, kill him. Kill him.
Just finish him off. And then he tells Captain Fukuda to come on in. And I remember that Fukuda was not last issue's captain. So he's asking about whether the little problem that they've had has been solved or not. And Captain Fukuda doesn't have good news that the mutant is still on the loose. And Hiroto seems to have a bit of information. He knows a bit about the turtles and thinks that he's skulking around somewhere. And he tells that captain that, better get it together, or else he's going to end up like his predecessor, who is being picked apart by these ravens that are constantly hanging out with Hiroto. So that kind of tells you what kind of guy Hiroto is. Yeah. I think he seems more brutal than even the Shredder ever did.
He's got a lot to live up to, I guess. You get a good picture here of what happened to the predecessor. Didn't turn out well for him at all.
Just a meaty head being picked apart by the ravens. So that's adorable. That's such a nice.
You do learn a lot about Hiroto in these pictures, though.
Yeah, what kind of guy he is, and what kind of
leader he is.
Which is it's kind of a dick. He's a dick. Cutting back, and we flow over to back to Casey and April. I'm wondering if April is a Jones at this point, really. I don't know if she took Casey's last name or if they actually got married or not, but
I mean, there were some interruptions.
Yeah, the random. I'm questioning whether she's April Jones. Anyway, we go back to this piece, and Casey is kind of talking about how the meal was really good, and after hours of practicing kendo, that she's that really hit the spot. Obviously, Michelangelo is enjoying the meal. Doesn't remember what a real meal tastes like, even. And then we kind of get a bit of a view of that they call this rock bottom, which is where because there's a 3-tier system in the city, and this is the bottom tier where they all live.
They're definitely talking about that class tiers that here. Rob, that definitely would not be a good way to die, having crows pick at you.
No, I wouldn't. You get back to that. Is that the birds, where the birds just start tearing people apart? Right?
Yeah.
I'm a fan.
Not fun.
No. You know who would enjoy that? Sheldon Cooper.
No, not at all.
Doesn't enjoy birds. So yeah, then she's kind of talking about that rock bottom, the place where they're at right now is kind of like the battlefield, and that her and her posse, her friends, are like the resistance. So they're still trying to, take care of the people of rock bottom there. And they're talking, and April sends Casey and Michelangelo to go get a change of clothes and whatnot for Michelangelo to throw some stuff on. And Casey walks him out.
Yeah, because they wear clothes now.
Yeah, gotta throw maybe something on. So yeah, she walks him out and kind of wanders into the dojo. She says that it's hard not to have trained in martial arts and whatnot, when that's kind of what she grew up in, is
Yeah.
all of this stuff. But mostly she's just trained by herself, it sounds like, which was curious as to why she had to train by herself. Like, I'm wondering if Casey died when she was very young then.
Good possibility.
So yeah, she's showing him around the dojo there and showing him that she gets all pumped up, and then she pulls off the blanket that she's got over by the weapons rack there, and there is all of Michelangelo's stuff, which he seems very relieved to see. She also mentions seppuku in there, that she knows what that looks like and knows what it is because she's read about it and whatnot.
Yeah, kind of like like the way she pulls it off and mentions the seppuku is kind of like a saying like, "Look, I know what you were tried to do to yourself." You know what I mean?
Yeah. Hello, Rob Lee. You are
Rob
a little
Lee.
late. I feel like you missed probably 3/4 of the comics so far.
Always late, Rob. Tisk.
A couple of things you missed.
Yeah, just play. Get her on the replay. Anybody, it's just as good on the replay. We're just as handsome. So
Better even. We use filters on the replay, so
yeah, definitely. Thank you for joining in, though.
yes. So yeah, we flow over and Michelangelo's giving his thanks and whatnot. He's glad that she brought these items because obviously they're very personal to him, and she understands the reason that he wanted to kill himself for the honor portion of it. Michelangelo seems very worried that maybe she told her mom about it, but Casey did not. So that's nice that she's holding secrets for the turtles already, and she doesn't even know them. She did mention actually at one point that the turtles were almost like folk hero, like the thing of story for her and whatnot.
Yeah, in this panel here, she says that practically like storybook heroes.
Yeah, so she's heard tons and tons about the turtles and been told numerous stories about them, obviously. So she knows quite a bit about them.
Yeah,
and then so she didn't say anything to her mom, and that she's things have been pretty rough, and that seeing one of the turtles actually has brought a little hope back to. It feels like there's been a little hope brought back to April.
Yeah.
She kind of talks to him about his journal, and that she's read a little bit of it, and that her understanding of it is like their techniques and life lessons and whatnot, all in this journal. And Michelangelo says, "Yeah, it's something like that." And we find out that book has been written by Master Splinter, and that that contains all of his life lessons and the knowledge that he was passing on to the turtle.
The learnings of the four brothers.
That's right. Out there kicking butts. And then we kind of flow into her asking a little bit about like, where has Michelangelo been all this time?
And what we learn is that after everything that had happened, Michelangelo went to the mountains, where for the first time he saw snow. And he said it was supposed to be too much for him, and that would be his final resting place. So he says that he didn't have a chance, pretty much, out here in this wilderness. Sewer boy out into the wilderness, into the snow for the first time. He said he didn't know how long he had laid there, whether it be weeks or months, but his mutant body would not let him die. His mutation was getting stronger, to the point where the cold and the wilderness just would not let him die. Over the time, the snow melted and the land become more fruitful type deal, something that he could survive in. So he would sit there and just let me read on a little bit.
I'm curious as to how he thought that the cold would, just finish him off, even just based on if personally, if I was a mutant turtle, I feel like I would want to know about what turtles do, and we know that turtles hibernate in the winter and that their bodies will slow down. So you would think he would, at this point, have had knowledge of, oh, my body's going to slow down and I'll just go into hibernation mode if I get too cold.
Yeah. Also, that comment takes me back to when he threw what's her face in the water, knowing that he had a better chance of surviving down there, right? Like he already knew that he could breathe under there, so that's actually quite a smart move for him. Although it didn't turn out, obviously.
No.
Moment of silence. Anyway, Mikey sits and reflects, wondering what his purpose is now, and stuff like that. We've got another guest in, Mr. Bootown's Games and Hobbies. How's it going, Brad?
Welcome, sir. Brad?
Yes, you do know us. We frequent at Bootown's Games and Hobbies in Woodstock here. Anybody who wants to check out them for Magic the Gathering and Warhammer and all sorts of stuff, 3D printing, check him out on his website, bootownsgamesandhobbies.com.
Great guy. Good plug there.
Definitely. I used to have a Bootown's Games and Hobbies thing to throw up, but I don't know what I did with it.
Well,
anyway, welcome, Brad. You're just catching us near the end of this book. Watch her on the replay. Go ahead and watch the first one if you haven't caught up on that. So we've got Michelangelo venturing out, thinking he's going to die from the snow. Doesn't. The land becomes more fruitful as time goes by, and he sits and reflects over time about what his purpose is now that his brothers are gone and his master is gone and stuff like that. I'm pretty sure he's willing to stay out here and live his days out here until at the bottom of this panel, you see some of the first people he's seen in a while have stumbled in, and they're yelling monster, calling him freak, saying kill it, and they start throwing stones at him and stuff like that. And Michelangelo starts to realize that there's bad people out there, and you can't sit by and let these bad people exist. So he has a bit of a epiphany right here, where he starts to realize what his purpose is to get rid of these bad people. So he takes them out, fights them. Now you see him back in with his some of his weapons and stuff like that, and he's starting to realize that he needs to finish this thing that started. He is the last of his clan. He is the Ronin. And it is time for him to go back, finish what started for the honor of his sensei and his family and his clan. So he takes off and he journeys back via boat towards the land that he's used to. So it clips back to that scene where we have Casey and Michelangelo. He's just told his heartfelt story about where he's been, He says he needs to complete my master's mission, kill the last Oroco. That is the plan. That is his purpose now. And she says, "What's this last page?" It says, "What does it mean?" It says, "No peace" on the last page. Okay. It says it means there's still work to be done. Right? She says, "Good, because my crew's going to need your help." He's like, "Huh?" She's like, no, I'm not going to help you guys. I'm a solo act now, pretty much, right?
Yep, I'm not helping, not getting anybody else killed.
Yep. She insists. Give me 1 second.
Rather sassily.
Yeah. She says, "Look, you stirred up a lot of stuff on the streets here, and whether you like it or not, we're in on this together now." She's she's like real insistent on this, and Mikey starts to laugh a bit. She goes, "What's so funny?" Mikey's like, "I'm trying to decide whether you're more like your dad or your mom, because they're both real stubborn. Let's be real." Okay. Anyway, in these last couple of panels, we see April. To me, she seems a bit sneaky here. Like she's almost trying to hide something a little ominous.
Yeah,
But she goes,
being real shady.
yeah, she goes to a safe, and then in the last panel there, you see her pull out of the safe this robotic head. And the face that she's making there, just to me, seems real ominous. Like when I saw these last couple of pages, I'm like, "What are you up to, girl? What you getting up to?" You know? She's just, almost to the point where I was like, "Oh no, is she like what's she hiding?" type deal, like, right?
Turned.
Yeah, like I'm so worried that she's turned after these last few pages. And she's got the mechanical hand. Where did it come from? I'm thinking like Baxter Stockman maybe or something like that. So I was a little worried about it. And that head there is looks a bit like the head of what is it, Fugitoid.
Yep, Fugitoid.
Which if nobody knows who the Fugitoid is. Now, earlier last episode, you mentioned that you were curious about how some of the futuristic characters were doing. Now, is this one of the characters that maybe you had thought of? The Fugitoid?
No, I wouldn't. I would not have thought of Fugitoid for some reason at all.
Anybody who doesn't know who this Fugitoid is. Fugitoid is a character that was in one of the Mirage books. Not originally part of the Ninja Turtles timeline, but then was introduced into the Turtles timeline. Some of the cartoons. This is a picture from one of the cartoons or the animated series, and he has a micro series from IDW, and he was integrated in some of the books, books and TV shows throughout the times of the Turtles. Most of the time, I'm not sure whether he's opposed to the Turtles at any time, but most of the time that I remember, he was always a friend of the Turtles.
Yeah.
Now, I have not read the more current series on this, but that's what I remember from him. So that's just a little bit of him. Won't go too deep into him because obviously we're going to get a lot. We're going to get some sort of explanation in the upcoming books. But
I think it's a safe bet that's Fugitoid's head because the safe had the Sal Zero on it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Sal is the robot that the professor got himself trapped in, correct?
Yeah, and I think that's even depicted here. I think that's the professor depicts the professor going into the not in a sexual manner. Don't get dirty.
He was entering the robot.
Yes, he was very much entering the robot. You can see down here, they're like, what? They're disgusted by what's happening.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so that's the book. In total, what do we got to reflect on here? We've got the loss of the first of his brothers, which is Raphael.
Which, I mean, it's not surprising that he would be first doing something reckless.
Yeah, he would run off and be reckless. Yeah, my words.
But it hit me in the field. Hit me in the field.
Right in the feels. So, other than that, we get a little bit of a look into his psyche, into Michelangelo's like mindset. They had some sort of a truth that was broken. Yes. I don't know whether if we're going to learn more about this truth or not.
I hope so.
Might be something they just touched on a little bit, but I'd like to know whether it's like, how long has this truth been going on? Is it just during certain times? It's interesting to me.
I'm wondering if it was put into place while, the shredder was still in existence and then his daughter broke it. Like, how did it?
That sounds like something Shredder would do. Just pansy out. Hang out in Dimension X for a little while.
Yeah. I'm curious about where, how Casey Jones ended too, and I'm hoping we get some backstory on those pieces. I'm going to presume that at some point we'll get some backstory on what exactly happened to April and the explosion that occurred that took her arm and leg and whatnot.
Yeah, and it doesn't really ever mention how Shredder was taken down either. I don't know whether that's related to like how that was, if that's related to the movies or the books. I can't tell you how that happens. Maybe that's something that happened in the series previous, which I would really like to get into. If anybody can tell me that, anyone on the replay, anybody watching, then that'd be real helpful.
Oh, anyways, I also like, before we flow through here, I did like, I don't know if you looked to the panel just past this Fugitoid thing, where it feels like in the next issue, we'll probably get some idea of.
I did not show. Let me bring that up. I did not show that because I didn't really want to. I didn't want to spoil too much. But go ahead.
I'm interested in.
I think by this time we know that Casey is not with us. Casey Jones. So that is the cover of the next issue. That's the cover one for the next issue, which hopefully we'll be getting an alternate cover for that, which is really cool. But you'll see that guy next. I have them on order. Who knows when that will come out? So it might be a little bit of time before issue 3 comes out. But in the meantime, we'll try to cover some other things.
I'm wondering if Casey, this gives me a lot of like thoughts. Did Casey die in the explosion? Are we going to learn more about the explosion? Because it looks like a building's leveled here. All kinds of goodies.
I think we will learn more about that explosion. Because I'm wondering now, Raphael died kind of on his own accord, really, right? He went off. Does this explosion take out more than one of the turtles? Obviously, the remainder turtles are going to go out. We've got 3 more issues to do that. Mm-hmm. So, is it going to be a turtle per issue? Is it going to be slower or quicker than that? Who knows? We'll find out. We'll find out next time on Last Ronin, issue 3.
So excited.
Yeah. Anyway, guys, I really enjoyed that one. I do have a few things I wouldn't mind showing before we take off. Now, I'm just going to get rid of this here. Going to do a couple of things. We'll move Monica's sloths. She makes me put these here, or she beats me if I don't put them there.
That's nice.
So last week I got some of the Funkos. I think they did a really good job on these Funkos. The detail on them is really good. This is Michelangelo, and then that was not Michelangelo, by the way. Donatello, and then Michelangelo, who this book is mostly about.
Nice.
But then this week, I managed to pick up Raphael, whom
That's adorable.
This book, they're awesome. I also picked up Casey Jones.
Nice.
So the only remaining one that I have for this, I don't know if you can see the bottom there, is Leo. I wasn't able to pick up Leo. The one I did find was damaged, so I did not pick that up. Now, I have been trying to get more books related to Turtles, and you were able to show off some books that I was pretty jealous about last time. So,
got a stack.
Shout out to my friend Rob Lee for getting me this one, but I managed to pick up the Loot Crate cover for the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles one.
Right.
Probably the only cover of this book that I'll ever own, because even like reprints of the original book are going for quite a bit of money right now. So that's probably going to be the only one I ever own, but I am thankful to have that one. I did pick up a few of the IDW series last week as well, or on Wednesday, but I think I'll show them on my next Wednesday poll video. So that's just a few things that I picked up that were turtle related, because I'm going down this deep turtle hole.
Yeah.
Again,
just getting all in the turtle hole.
Getting all in the turtle hole, if you will. So
we'll have to maybe by next time we're on for episode 3 for comic 3, I'll dig around in my toy bin and bring out a few of my classic turtle, and I'll replace these guys back here.
Yeah. Like I said in the last one, me and you we collected turtle stuff for quite a while. A lot of it being figures. Now I gave a lot of mine away. Am I regretting that now? I mean, a little, but I did give them to, a friend's child, which was cool with me, because I was passing them on to somebody that I cared about.
I'll tell you a secret about some of those toys. They did end up over here.
Oh yeah, well probably you went over there and just ransacked them. Give me my turtles back. I thought I was gonna have to make a trip over there. I guess I'm gonna have to make a trip over to your place. So we'll see what happens. So anyway, what have you got to say?
Overall, another great book. Another book where they did a great job of like letting parts of the art just speak for itself. I'm really excited for issue 3. Can't wait for it to come in. I hope it comes in sooner rather than later, so that we can continue on with this little ride, because I have been enjoying, getting back into comics and whatnot a little bit. So I'm excited
I think this was a good one to jump on, because it's a 5-issue series, limited series. You don't have to invest too much time into it. Great story. So it just gets you kind of pumped, right? Like, I've been reading more comics than I ever have lately. I've just been super enjoying it, right? Like, doesn't seem like work to get through these books. It's just, I'm just truly enjoying them. So I think and
every time I read one of these ones, it's been 2, so
yeah, every both times I read this,
I do find myself reading it more than once. Like I read it through 2 or 3 times, just because I want to soak up every little piece of the story that I can.
I
Make
read
sure
it
I'm not missing anything.
at least twice because what I end up doing is I'll read the physical comic. Got someone coming in here. How's it
Hello.
going, Bueller? Bueller is one of my favorite YouTubers in the comic book community. He's a really, really good guy, willing to help out pretty much anytime, and he's a lot of fun. So it's good to have you, Bueller. Just finishing off the Last Ronin #2. Just finished talking about it. Great book, Bueller. Have you read these books so far? I'm a big Turtles fan, and they're just a joy to read. Although I will say, so far, watching them die.
No, I didn't.
Yeah.
I didn't enjoy it.
I enjoyed it, but I didn't enjoy it.
Yeah.
Like Bueller says, it's one of his favorites too. Yeah,
So he said,
that's awesome, Bueller.
you are.
Oh,
You're
I
one of
thought.
his people.
Oh well,
Nerdy
thank you
Kev.
very much. I thought you were talking about the book there for a moment, Bueller. Yeah, thank you very much. I'm glad to be back, and I think we're just having a lot of fun this time around. Just not taking it too seriously and just enjoying ourselves. So it's very good to be back, Bueller. Anytime you want to come on the show, we'll talk, and I'll throw you a link. I'd love to have you on sometime. Anyway, you just caught us at the end, Bueller, so we're probably just saying bye. So,
Is that right now? We're just staying by?
Unless you got something else to say.
You know, no, I don't. I don't.
Oh, yeah, you've got tons to say.
I like to say so many things. But
get your
blood back
on.
Comic right now. I'm good.
Yeah. So what we've got coming up next is we've got some more issues of we've got issues. That's for sure. We've got Middle West, more Middle West coming up next week than the previous week. I don't know, because I don't know when this next book is going to come out. Apparently, this book has been a hard one to get in on time. I don't know whether that was just a pandemic or what. Hopefully, we'll get them in sooner when they say they come in. So, aside from that,
crossed,
you can look forward. What's that?
Fingers crossed. I need more.
Great book. We've got Camaro Cinema, the one that I really biffed on the name last time, but I've been watching a lot of his channel. Great guy, has a lot of great guests on. Just a joy to watch, and I owe him some gummy bears. So, Camaro, send me your information, and I will send you some gummy bears, which I'm eating right now, by the way. So
you're gonna get the diabetes.
No, these are probably. Whatever. Show your boo boo. Anyway, guys, we're probably gonna say bye now.
Peace out.
Peace out.
Thanks for joining. Remember,
thank you, everybody.
Subscribe, like, bring all the likes.
Camaro Cinema, send me your information on my Instagram at Nerdy Couch. Nerdy Couch on Instagram. Anyone else who wants to say hi, go ahead and say hi.
Sounds good.
All right, guys, we're going to catch you later. Thanks for coming. Hold on. Wait.
What?
Bootown says something. Says, wait, what? Bring them with you tomorrow. Gummy bears? We'll see.
He doesn't deserve any.
Of course he does.
You guys have a good night.
All right. Take care, everybody. See you later. Y'all making me stay later than I wanted to. Bye-bye now. Take care, guys.